So it's my turn to entertain you now, eh? Good. I've been waiting. Come into the Vault of Horror. I am your host, the Vault Keeper. I've just painted that casket with glue, so sit down on it. Then you won't hit the ceiling when I tell you the blood-curdling tale I call Madam Bluebeard. For the beginning of our story, let's look in on a pathetic scene. A funeral in a cemetery. As the group of black-clad mourners gathered around the sobbing widow, watch. The coffin of the recently deceased is lowered into the yawning black pit. Sad, isn't it? Feel sorry for the poor widow? Don't. Notice the neat line of graves beside the new one? Count them. Yes, there are 6 others. This poor woman is burying her 7th husband. Is there any wonder I've christened her Madam Bluebeard? After all, she killed them all.
Poor Teresa. I don't see how she stood up under these emotional shocks. 7 husbands in 7 years.
All accidentally killed. Oh yes, that's what everyone believes. That Teresa's 7 husbands all died accidentally. Even her husbands believed it. That is, all except Freddy, the one they're burying now. He knows different. Or I should say, knew different. But I'm getting ahead of my story.
Poor girl.
Poor? That's a laugh. She's loaded. Her 7 husbands' estates amount to a tidy sum. Why, if I didn't think Teresa was a jinx, I'd marry her myself. But I'd probably end up like all the others, in some freak accident.
The others? How did they die?
Well, let's see. Earl was her first. It happened about 3 months after they were married. Earl had probably fallen asleep while fishing. His boat drifted into the rapids and he was killed going over the falls. Howard, Teresa's second, fell off a cliff while they were honeymooning in a trailer. Douglas, number 3, was killed on a hunting trip. His gun exploded in his face. Neil, the 4th, fell from his office window. 14 stories. Warren, Teresa's 5th, was killed when their car was struck by a train. Teresa was thrown clear and suffered only mild bruises. Then Peter, husband number 6, was electrocuted while taking a bath. A radio he was listening to fell into the tub of water. And of course you know how poor Freddy was killed.
Yes. Well, Teresa's leaving. I guess it's all over. Coming?
See what I mean? See how they all believe the deaths were accidents? Accidents, my bloodshot eye. They were each cold, calculated murder. Take poor Earl's death, for instance. Oh, sure, Earl fell asleep while fishing, but he knew about the rapids and the falls downstream, so he was very careful to tie up the boat to an overhanging bough before taking his snooze. Only. And as for Howard, well, he was inside the trailer when Teresa stopped it at the cliff edge. When she screamed, Howard came out of the trailer door, full speed. And Douglas, husband number 3, met his untimely fate because after cleaning his gun, he left it around where Teresa could get at it. She poured molten lead into the barrel, blocking it up. Neil, number 4, was leaning out of his office window looking for the new Cadillac Teresa claimed was parked below, when Teresa yanked the scatter rug out from beneath his feet. As for Warren, husband 5, he'd made the mistake of falling asleep while Teresa was driving home from a party. She'd just stopped their car on the grade crossing, stepped out, and waited. And Peter, who loved music, aired when he took his bath with his back to the door.
He never saw Teresa open it, reach the stick in, and knock the radio off the shelf above the tub. Yes, they'd all been murdered, but they never knew it. Only Freddy, Teresa's 7th husband, he knew. Freddy was a flying bug, owned his own plane. He'd had a runway leveled at one end of Teresa's vast estates. Every day he'd take off, fly around, and land. One day, while he was up, Teresa strung a strong wire, taut, about 2 feet high, across the runway. And when Freddy came in for a landing, but Freddy wasn't killed in the crash. When he crawled from the wreckage, Teresa was forced to finish the job. No, Teresa, no! So you see why I've christened Teresa Madam Bluebeard. What's that you say? She must be nuts. Of course she's nuts. It stems back to her childhood, when her father walked out on Teresa and her mother.
Jack, what will we live on? Teresa and I.
For my part, you can starve. Goodbye. Teresa's mother had been embittered by her husband's leaving. She'd brought up her daughter to hate men.
Men are beasts, Teresa. They're nothing but animals. Yes, Mommy?
All of her life she'd been taught.
Money. That's all they're good for. The beasts.
Yes, Mother.
Until it became logical in Teresa's warped mind that
Men are beasts. Wild beasts. Wild beasts must be destroyed.
then, when Teresa's mother died on a cold day in November,
I'll avenge your death, Mother. You shall see. They'll pay for this. The beasts.
and so, on the first anniversary of her mother's death, Earl, Teresa's first husband, lay in his grave. Teresa came and laid a wreath on it in her mother's honor. And on the second anniversary of her mother's passing, there were 2 graves to place wreaths upon. Earl's and Howard, her second husband's. Year after year, the neat little row of graves grew, and year after year, Teresa came and placed wreaths upon them in honor of her mother.
6 years, Mother, and 6 wreaths in your memory.
Now the black-clad mourners are filing out of the cemetery, leaving the 7th grave to be filled in. Freddy's grave. Let's get to work, Hank. Yeah, it's getting cold. And so the 7th grave is filled in. The neat line lies silent under the darkening sky. Earl under the 1st, Howard beneath the 2nd, Douglas under the 3rd mound, Neil below the 4th, Warren in the 5th, and Peter the 6th, each peaceful in death, each ignorant. And in the fresh grave, Freddy, who knows. And as the wind comes up, rustling through the bare trees, sweeping across the gravestones, whistling past the row of 7 graves, it seems to sound like a whisper, like someone whispering, like Freddy telling the others. One day in November.
I'd like to buy some wreaths. 7 of them.
Yes, ma'am. Shall I wrap them, or are you going across the road with them?
I'm going across the road to the cemetery. How much will that be?
$14, ma'am. These are hard to get this time of year.
Teresa crosses the road and enters the cemetery, the 7 wreaths in her arms.
$14. The beast.
On over the frozen mounds she moves, to the neat row of 7 graves. She stoops and places a wreath upon each grave. Then Teresa tosses her face toward the darkening sky and begins to laugh. But her laugh is cut short by a rumble beneath her feet. She stares down, horrified. The 7 graves are each cracking open.
Good Lord.
The rotted hand reaches up from beneath the frozen earth, grasping Teresa's ankle in a death-like grip. She cannot run. She cannot move. She can only watch as the corpses rise from their graves. Watch and scream. And as Teresa's screams end in a choking cough, silence once again descends upon the graveyard. The wind whispers across the cemetery, caressing the neat little row of graves. Only now there are 8 graves instead of 7, and on the 8th grave lie 7 soiled wreaths. So happy anniversary, Mother. That's a lovely gift those men beasts gave you. I hope you're grateful. Oh, by the way, fiends, you'll be grateful when you receive an order of back issues. Get all of mine, or Crypt, or Haunt, or just get them all. Don't forget the other EC titles. To find out more, read the Crypt Keeper's Corner in this issue. The old buzzard gives full particulars. Bye now. Remember, cremated corpses never die. They just blaze away.